Welcome back. I'm John Furrier, your host of theCUBE. We are here at theCUBE's NYSE studio. Of course, we have our Palo Alto studio connecting Silicon Valley and Wall Street, part of our NYSE Wired program, a CUBE original. And of course, this is the Crypto Trailblazers series. We feature the leaders who are making it happen, bringing in the new Fi, the DeFi, the Wi-Fi, whatever Fi we got going on at theCUBE, we'll bring it to you. We got CUBE alumni from Maui. Helena's here, and Arash, co-founders of ICME. Guys, welcome back to theCUBE, and congratulations on the event you held last night here at the NYSE. It's probably the most talked about party in history in Wall Street because they had a DJ on the floor, which they've never done before. So pioneering, you're trailblazing. Thanks for coming on. So Helena, talk about the party and the efforts of your new venture. You're not even a year in.
Yeah.
Okay. The traction in the community is significant. Momentum. There's a lot of people getting behind your mission.
Yeah. The party was super interesting to plan in a little less than 3 weeks, and it was the first ever new Fi Summit. I think we all feel it and see it, that there's a lot that needs to be changed with TradFi. We can make Fi a lot more fun, and with the regulatory winds blowing on tokenized equities, I do think we're moving into a new era, hence from TradFi's new Fi. And to make it fun, we got a DJ on the trading floor, and we have a super funny story of how that came together.
Tell the story.
Yeah, no, we were, we got presented with the opportunity to have this event pretty last minute, I would say. It was like a couple weeks out from the date. And there was DAS happening in New York at the time, and we had to line it up perfectly so it would be a side event to DAS. And we started scrambling things together, trying to put together a guest list, a speaker list, and then a DJ as well, because we wanted it to kind of have more of a young and new Fi type of feel. So we started going back and forth, trying to figure out all the logistics of this. The DJ side of it, we think we figure out pretty quickly. We have this one DJ that is pretty famous on board, but long story short, there was a small mistake on the agreement, and she was booked for 24th, not 25th, which is when the event was, and didn't notice that until literally like a day before the event. I'm on the way to the airport trying to board my flight here, and I'm going back and forth trying to figure out, okay, what's plan B, what's plan C? We're trying to figure out all these kind of ulterior options, and nothing's really working. Every option we're getting presented with is objectively so much worse than the original DJ we had booked. And until the people who we're working with send us this one option, Sammy Brielle. And then I asked Helena, I sent her the song where she's like, it's 9 p.m. on a Friday. Get the F up, we're going to high, let's go. And then she thought I was trying to like motivate her, because she was like, a little bit down that from the whole DJ situation. She thought it was
a motivating song. Come on.
Yeah,
it's a motivating song.
I was like, oh, I'm kind of bummed I'm at the airport. And I was texting Arash, and he sends me this song, and I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, I will lock in. Don't worry about it. And he's like, no, like, she's going to be the DJ. And I was like,
well, I didn't say she was going to be the DJ. I was like, would it be good if she was the DJ? Because I don't want to get her hopes up yet. Like, I kept sending her.
You were trying to lock that down.
I kept sending her people, and then I would be like, this is happening, and then it would fall through. And then I didn't want to get her hopes up, because I realized she really likes Sammy Brielle.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, maybe we can get this, So the next 12 hours, I'm spending going back and forth with the agency. The agency's going back and forth with the DJ. We're trying to negotiate this deal. I find out she's at a flight, or she's at her gate about to board a flight to Miami for Miami Music Week. And I'm like, okay, this is serious. We have to lock this down. 100%, we all just buckle down, get this done, no sleep for the following 36-hour span. But we finally got the deal done. She came out here, put on a great performance. I think everyone had a great night, and it was an absolute.
Well, I've never seen anyone, I think Brian Bauman would agree to this because he works here, since I've been here for 2 years coming to the exchange with theCUBE, I've never seen anyone dance on the dance on the floor.
Yeah.
It's a dance floor. It's a trading floor.
Yeah.
The new FI is dancing.
Yes.
I've never seen a DJ and dancing like I did
Yeah.
last night.
Well,
So
for
that's a
us,
first.
like our audience, I want to say is on the younger side, Gen Zs,
Yeah.
younger generations, and a large part of our mission with ICME is to make sure that our generation will have, an ability to generate wealth, given that a lot of other wealth generation platforms have disappeared throughout the years, like, buying a house and watching that increase in value. And so we also see in our generation that, a lot of people want to trade with like a lot of risk and like high potential reward. So people are trading things that can do like an 100x return maybe in like a couple of hours at the end of the day, or they're trading with 65x leverage for the thrill of it, because that like it's what we're used to, and it gives a lot of dopamine, and I do think dopamine plays such a big part in our culture these days. So that's the demographic we're trying to target with NewFi.
Yeah, it's a great demographic point there, because online culture is native.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at sports gambling. And NCAAs are happening right now. If you'd like basketball, everyone's betting.
Right.
Yeah.
Talk about leverage. It's not a lot of leverage there, just risk.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's become standard. So I think your idea of wealth creation and fun plays into this.
Yeah.
And we were talking at Maui at Actai event last year, Helena, about this. And remember, we were talking like, hey, you know what? Why are these private company stocks not tokenized?
Yeah.
You have Securitize just did a deal with the NYSE. I interviewed Carlos yesterday. They're going to tokenize public equities.
Yeah.
So your mission to do private is huge. Like, that's obvious.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things that's like no brainer.
Yeah.
It's a sector that people have wanted access to for a long, long time. And especially for people outside of the US, it's something that historically they've never had access to. We're in San Francisco, and we're kind of in the heart of innovation and tech being developed. And every day walking around, you just see so much innovation happening. And to think that most people in the world do not have any financial upside from being able to be invested in these companies is a pretty insane fact. And I think it's something that if it was changed in the world, it would be for absolutely the net positive.
Yeah.
You know the old line, the difference between crazy and genius is timing.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So I will say that I think the timing for this is perfect.
Yeah.
Here's why. I just bought stock in Polymarket
Yeah.
a couple months ago.
Yeah.
They're Series A at whatever $1 billion valuation on some convoluted SPV structure. I'm like, it's a black box. I have no freaking clue what's happening in that black box.
Exactly.
So that's happening. There's still early stage deals you can come in on a classic basis. But as companies go private, you got the SPV mechanics, all these things going on. You also have companies waiting to go public. Look at Databricks, it's like Stripe.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting liquid.
Yeah.
They're already doing it.
And like,
They're already doing it. But there's weird mechanisms.
yeah, and just it's so difficult to get liquid. Like I know people with Waymo stocks that want to sell their stocks because they were an employee, but they don't have the right platform to do so. And I also think the other part that is interesting about all of this is that, the regulatory winds are blowing strong, and like we hear from the SEC that, all equities in 2 years will be tokenized. So it's a really good opportunity for us to start laying the groundwork for private companies, because, decades ago, or just like 1 decade ago, actually, companies used to IPO so much earlier. And now, like you were saying, like Databricks, Stripe, they're these mega companies that are still private, and more, there's just so much money locked up in private.
You know what I like about it, what you guys are doing too, is that it breaks the classic gatekeeper mentality.
Right.
Yeah.
Because your friend at Waymo, she's probably moved on but has stock, but she's waiting for some thing to happen. I got to call a lawyer. I got to get a group together. So all this work has to get done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like...
And the other side of it as well is when you kind of go the route of these SPVs and these other very kind of convoluted structures, it ends up just confusing retail. Retail does not want to participate in something that they don't understand. On a core and fundamental level, things need to be very simple, very easy to understand, and that's how you kind of get retail participation. With institutions, it's a bit different. They're more willing to kind of adapt and learn to more
They got
complex
lawyers, they can
structures.
read a
Yeah.
document, the fine print, it's all this like gobbledygook nonsense. It's like terms of service. I check, I don't even know what's in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, what the hell? So clearly product market fit opportunity. Then there's the cultural norms, which I think is breaking because like we were talking about the liquidity, a lot of the investors are getting their money out, the institutional, the VCs, the asset class guys are.
Yeah.
Why can't the employees?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
for founders as well, like it's a dynamic you see in crypto, but not in other sectors of tech where, for crypto founders, it's easy for them to access liquidity a lot of the time purely because of the fact that they can launch a token, right? For someone who's like an AI founder, for example, it's very, very difficult for them to access liquidity. The only two real routes are going public or getting acquired. Secondaries markets are like pretty broken.
Yeah.
And liquidity just doesn't really exist on these markets unless you're like a mega hyped company.
Yeah.
If that same dynamic could be brought over to them, they won't have to kind of do things like selling their dream as early. These people are taking like an 80K a year salary and having probably one of the hardest jobs in the world of being a founder.
Yeah.
They're working like 12, 15 hours a day, all for an 80K salary and a very questionable question of if liquidity will ever come. If there's an opportunity for them to reach some level of liquidity for their shares, but not have to sell their dream early, I think it's a very powerful opportunity for them as well.
Yeah, it's a total powerful opportunity. And also the psychology changes in the other direction and on that dynamic too, is because then side hustles start happening.
Right.
Then you got, that's not optimized. Side hustles are like, it's a boredom meets, where's the opportunity? So you're starting to stray off the North Star of your life.
Yeah.
Because when you start doing side hustles, then you got, your context
juggling
switching,
too
it's not a
much,
good psychology.
Yeah.
I mean, I like this, the vibe of side hustling, but it doesn't feed into a mission.
Yes, yes.
And I think this does. The other thing is, I want to ask you guys this too. I've heard a lot of conversation in the NewFi community last night is that if I have that Waymo stock, I could pledge it for a house.
Yeah.
It's got value.
Yeah.
There's also store of value in the asset.
Yeah.
Does that play into this too?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
or
No, you go for it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, using these as collateral can be huge as well. Right now, there's all these kind of weird, complex ways that people try and go about using their private shares as collateral for whether it's a loan or a mortgage or something. There's no clear, easy way for anyone to do it. If there's a truly liquid market established for it, it makes the underwriting of these collateralized deals much easier for any institution who's giving that out. So I think that's one of the other biggest sides of it as well, especially because like so many of like the tax laws are pretty broken around these where like a lot of the time like
a lot of the shit's
weird-
broken. Let's admit that. I mean,
so
there's a
many the
lot of
time-
stuff broken.
Yeah, so many of the time like you'll be getting taxed on something that's like fully kind of like illiquid and you can't really sell, and then it's like it has value, you can't sell it, but you got to figure out how to pay the taxes
I mean,
on
this
it.
is
So-
classic democratization
Yeah.
in play.
Yeah. And I do think we're opening a new asset class for collateral for institutions to use. And I think that would bring a lot of institutional liquidity on chain.
All right, I'm sold. So I love this idea. As I've talked to you in private about. Of course, I want to get the CUBE stock tokenized because we're private. We have no outside investors. Let's see what
That would be
happens there.
awesome,
There's no market for that yet, but that's where it could go. Anyone can just tokenize their stocks, right?
Yeah.
Any company. I mean, I could technically do it if I wanted to.
Yeah.
As
it's
long as
like-
you're a good and legitimate company at the right
Yeah.
Working on that.
we'll let you.
Well, like, it's so difficult to, like, be able for normal Web 2 companies or internet companies to tokenize because it's such a new territory, whereas crypto companies have been tokenizing for a while. And there's been a lot of problems with that too. ICOs, the boom in 2017 was super fun and everyone loved it. And a lot of people did make wealth and other people lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And, if you look at the stats and you held a token that ICO'd from 2017, it's very likely to have decreased a lot in value. And it's largely due to that a lot of these tokens are, launched from foundations like the Cayman Islands and are backed by narrative.
Yeah.
And so for us, these tokens are equity, they're securities, and we're very open about that. And I think it can make a world of difference. And like, tokens are supposed to be a beautiful thing. They're supposed to be a currency for your thriving like ecosystem of your company. It's supposed to be like a currency for your own community, like the CUBE community, the NYSE Wired community.
The New Fi Summit community that was here last night.
The New Fi Summit community. And, like we want to bring that vibe back.
Yeah, well you guys did a great job. The event last night was clearly the community was voting with their enthusiasm and support, so congratulations on that. It was a great event. We're proud that the NYSE Wired partnered with you guys on this. We really think the mission is significant. Now I want to ask about how it all came together. When did you guys in earnest start grinding? Because I know the collaboration's been going on because that's what founders do.
Yeah.
You shape it, you look at the opportunity, you got to get your arms around it. When did you lock in? And when did the coding start? Give us the play-by-play.
Well, so in May of last year on the Acti Maui trip, 2025, I met Bill, who has played an integral role for us and has joined us as a co-founder. And so, started getting to know Bill then, but we incorporated the company in November when we were in New York at that time, I believe. And that's when we, really started grinding, writing out the code. And the other pivotal moment of that is when we met our lawyer, Teresa. And, this project wouldn't be possible without her. She's so incredible. And it was like one of the signs where we were like, we can actualize this mission. Like we can change the future of what private equity looks like. Like in this world, like VCs could be more like hedge funds, and like retail can be investors and traders, and
So you saw the path. Everything kind of clicked in, kind of came together at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a trend that you're seeing in a lot of crypto VCs right now, where a lot of them are converting to being liquid funds. They're kind of restructuring their whole organization to kind of optimize for that, because they're realizing in a world where you can access liquidity for these shares and either increase your position, decrease it, you have much more flexibility. It ends up just being fundamentally a much easier path to go down as someone who wants to back and support great companies, but then doesn't want to kind of get screwed over in the process and have these weird dynamics where you're forced to wait years and years for any liquidity.
And it's a great way to show support to say like you were a holder of the token.
Yeah, and it's like one thing when you're a fund and you get some shares and you're kind of forced to hold them and you hold them, versus you're a fund that gets shares in a company and you can sell them at any point, but you choose to hold them. That shows real dedication and real conviction in the company.
Yeah, and also putting those assets to work too and hold.
Right.
I think this is a flashpoint in this generational shift because one, a lot of things are broken, and they're kind of broken by the evolution of the old system that just needs to get tweaked, and that enter in the new financial infrastructure, the new FI, and the mainstream adoption all kind of coming together. The regulatory, it's the perfect storm of innovation. The regulatory, the market readiness, the timing of the consumer market, there's pain, and there's growth, so you have all the elements. So I guess my question is, what's next? What are you working on now? Can you share? I know you got little securities things, so you got to be careful what you say, probably. But like, what are you working on now? What are you optimizing for right now?
Yeah, we're just continuing to build our pipeline of great companies to launch for, and that's our immediate goal. And
companies that want to be tokenized on the equity.
Yes. And so if you're a company, out there watching, do let us know.
What's the process? How do you engage? Someone says, hey, I really want to be in this first wave of historical companies that do this. What's the process? What do people do?
In many ways, we do act like a VC in the way that we try and kind of do due diligence and research into the companies of like, how would this be positioned on our market? How would retail react to this? We try and look for companies who are, one, pretty consumer aligned and have kind of like a cult following. We try and target them at the seed to Series A or Series B stage. We think products that people can use and feel, and the same people who are the token holders can be users of the product. It ends up creating a very good flywheel for the company. What ends up happening, and it's a dynamic you see a lot in crypto as well, where a company will put out a token, lots of their supporters or people in their community will go out and buy their token, and then that are using their product, and then they will constantly be posting about it in Twitter. They will be telling all their friends about it. They will be giving good feedback on the product, because ultimately they have a financial incentive to want the product to do better and the company to succeed. So we want to target companies in those stages. We try and talk to them, make sure they are official, legitimate, they have all the right intentions, and then we have a goal of trying to kind of get the process from getting all the filings done that would be necessary for this down dramatically. Right now, to do similar types of offerings where you have truly publicly tradable equities in a private company, it typically costs high hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And it's very impractical for companies who are trying to only raise a couple million. So
got to make it easy.
Yeah.
Not a lot of steps.
Exactly.
Blockchain's perfect for that, the crypto infrastructure.
Yeah.
Now you have the NuFi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on a great event last night. Again, no brainer as far as I'm concerned. This is going to happen. It's one of those things that's so obvious. Just someone has to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
See, everyone's like, that's such an obvious idea. Someone else will think about it. Well, it's what Steve Jobs' famous line.
Yeah.
The world was invented by people like ourselves.
Oh,
out
yes,
there.
yes. I was
That's Shia
confusing
LaBeouf.
to just do it.
I mean, he's like, all the great stuff that's happened, just normal people just doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations. Well, you guys are not normal. You're super entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So thank you for
And
coming on.
one way lots of people have tried to do kind of similar concepts, and the way that most of them go wrong is that they fundamentally make it like a worse deal than just going out and raising a private VC round. Let's say I'm a great company, I can go get backing from any VC in the world. Why am I going to do like a public offering when I can kind of get these VCs who will get me all my customers, who will kind of get me all my other next rounds done for me, who will just kind of do everything for me and just make the whole process much easier. So it ends up kind of making an adverse selection problem where all the good all the good companies go to the good VCs, and then all the kind of bad companies end up going to similar, like not similar, but like other like crowdfunding and public raising types of platforms, and none of their users end up getting good returns because it's only objectively bad companies that know.
And that's the only game in town, so it's like they play there. There's no other retail.
Right, and like
you bring retail, the good companies to the retail.
Right, and a large part of how you get those good companies is by offering incentives and aligning the kind of upside that the companies get to fundamentally be a better deal than going out and raising.
We've done a lot of interviewing with our potential retail customers, VCs, the founders themselves, the teams themselves, to figure out how do we structure what we're doing on the market side and the design side to make sure everyone's incentives are aligned. And so just thinking through a lot of moving pieces and trying to align everything in a way where people feel like this is the best deal possible for them, and addressing a lot of the broken cracks in the system.
Yeah, and software solves that, and decentralized infrastructure is perfect for it.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys, thanks for coming on. I appreciate what you guys doing, and good luck. We'll be following it. We'll be there watching you build it out.
Thanks
for coming
so
on.
much.
Good job.
Thanks for having us.
Helena, great to see you. Great party last night, and they crypto trailblazers for sure, and they trailblazing at the NYSE, bringing a DJ on the show floor, people dancing on the stock exchange. I've never seen that before. That was huge, and plus the DJ was cool. This is theCUBE doing our part to be cool. We'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.